I am joined today with someone I've known for almost a decade now, and that is Nixon Lee. Nixon is a specialist in, I'm going to let him tell his story, but he does PR, press releases, public relations. When I was trying to get verified on social media, he was instrumental in that. We got it done. And then like a week later, Facebook made it where anybody could do it. But that's the way things go sometimes. But, you know, he's an expert at that. And he's really got a lot of, he's really niched down and really made himself a valuable commodity to the community. So Nixon, welcome aboard. I know it's late for you. We appreciate you taking the time to be here today.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. Great.
Great. So why don't we start this way? Why don't you give us some background on you and tell us what you do and what your origin story is, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So those who don't know me, my name is Nixon. I'm the co-founder of Spine PR. So basically, I help people get found, build some brands online, and get their services exposed to the world, I would say. Be known, be heard, build authority, build trust. So started my business. Well, I started as a person in the creative industry, in the advertising industry. I was working there for a couple of years, left that, started an agency, sold it off, started another agency, sold it off, did some work, had a burnout, lost everything, became broke, and started freelancing. And that's how I got to know Chris, I think so, through a platform that we will not mention. Yeah. But
it's not around anymore anyway.
So actually, I have no idea how we actually met, Chris. To be honest,
I think it was just from being around that platform. I think.
Yeah. So that's my story in the gist of my story. If you want to know more, just message me and I'll give you the long.
Actually, I want you to tell a little bit more. I want you to go into how you struggled with when you started doing PR, because you've told me this story before, and how hard it was for you to focus on that one thing, and how till it took off. I think people would appreciate that. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah. So when I first started this business, I was actually quite bad in terms of in the rut. So after I sold off my agency and I did some work and I took a sabbatical and I didn't know what to do. So there was a point in my life where everything was just going down. So there was a point in my life where I just some close people know this about me, where before I started all this freelancing business and PR and all, I was so bad that I couldn't take my child out of the hospital at one time. So what happened was I had a child, my first kid that was born. So when time to pay the bill, like I couldn't pay the bill because all my credit cards were like gone. So it was that point in my life that that kind of like woke me up. So when I started doing this freelancing business, it was basically working in the morning at 6 to about 10 at night, and at 10 at night until 3 in the morning I was doing the freelance business, the PR business. And I was pretty frustrated because I was thinking, like, because I was in the advertising business in some sense, so I was just thinking, like, why is it so difficult to get PR for people? Why is it so hard to get press and get people known and do publications and all that? So I worked really hard to, like you said, niche down, right? So I was going in. So I think I worked for like almost a year. I was doing two things at the same time. I was working in the morning just to feed the family. And at night, I was doing my freelance business from around 11, 12 to 3, 12 to 4. For almost a year, I was doing that, I think. Until started on the platform. So I tried everything. I tried nearly everything. Like I started going to groups. And I went on to these the marketplace, and the marketplace where I met you, and I came on this marketplace. Then I started building it slow and steady. But one of the things that I didn't do was I didn't get into a lot of things. I just focused on PR. That's it, because I really wanted to build this particular business into something really huge. But also, I just really wanted to know how PR really worked. So I really deep dive into it for like now almost 10 years now, 5, 6 years, 7 years now.
Close to 10.
Yeah.
I have done PRs, press releases for many years, and when I say I've done them, I mean I've bought them from people like you and Randy and a few others. I have no idea, even to this day, how you do that. So I don't expect you to tell us how you do it, but how did you go about learning to do that? Because I've never seen a course on it anywhere. I've never seen any training on it anywhere. How did you learn how that works?
Yeah, so there's two aspects to the PR that we do, right? One is the traditional PR where we do public relations, where public relations basically, the traditional stuff where you build stories and you help companies and individuals to build stories. Basically traditional PR. And the one that we are doing now, which is online, it's more towards for the SEO community, where we help you to build backlinks through the press releases and all. So in terms of what we are doing personally, we do two levels, right? One is we help agencies, marketing agencies build the in terms of the digital PR side, and another one is where we do PR purely for branding. That is not used for backlinks or anything like that. just purely for branding. And PR is not hard because there are a lot of service providers now that are doing great PR now and they're doing great work. So it's not as difficult as you think it is. I mean, you can get any vendor now to provide you with the PR services or the distribution or the syndication and also. But we're kind of different from them because we are using a lot of networks that we have now, and some of the networks that we use, Randy use, some of the networks that we use, PR Wire use, and all the big other PR organizations. There's no special trick to it because a lot of us in the industry do use almost the same network when it comes to syndication. So there's no special secret sauce to that. But in terms of how we do the PR and how we distribute the PR and how we optimize the PR, that's where it's just different from the rest. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So you started just with like those kinds of press releases, and you've since gone into
Yeah.
like, I don't really know what the right term for it is, but like high-end media, right? Like you helped me get in Maxim and in Men's Journal
Yeah.
and some other really, really expensive publications.
Yeah.
How did you make that transition from just doing PRs into those kind of expensive publications?
Yeah. So some of it is paid PR. So there is I know it's frowned upon a lot by the PR purists, I would call it, right? So some of it's paid, some of it's been pitched, some of it because we know journalists and we have connections with journalists and editors and all that kind of stuff, and we have a network of publicists who can take a story, write an original story and submit it to the press, local press, and also some of the stuff that we did for you was outwardly paid PR. So we told you that PR, look, we can get into this publication. It's paid because it's done by a contributor or a staff member or something like that. It's also still a pitch, but a paid pitch. So we do pay a certain fee for that, and we pitch a story on behalf of the client to get onto these publications. And some publications, like we have a full featured, a guest post kind of feature. So a full feature is basically just the PR, just about that particular client or that particular company. And we either will pitch to the journalist, or we'll say, look, we got this something here is really good because we have the connection with that journalist. And like, look, just publish it for us. And so it depends on how good the story is or how newsworthy the story is, I would say.
Okay.
Where they will take it. Yeah.
So what's the value in those, in your opinion?
Well, if you're talking about companies like yourself, okay, so we are now going very much into the personal branding space or brand building space. Building up, for example, like let's take it this way. Like, so some of you who are watching this, right? You guys have bought ads, you guys have done a lot of stuff, content, all that kind of stuff you have done that people have told you to do. And yet you still don't get leads, you don't get sales because nobody buys from you and all that. So one of the main reasons that we think is basically just authority or reputation, right? If people don't know who you are, or when they go online, they can't find you, you have no basically credibility, I would say. So PR kind of like tells your story, builds some sort of credibility, builds some sort of authority for you, and build trust for you, basically. Simple as that. So what happens is when people trust you, they buy from you. If they don't know who you are, they most unlikely will not buy for you. Because if they look at the end of the day, we know that reviews count. If you're not in the news, just say if you're selling something really high end or something really just like someone wants, and they go and check you online, they don't find any press about you, any content about you. The likelihood of them buying from you is pretty slim. So, but if you have some media about you, like what you have, Chris, like you have your own Google Knowledge Panel, you have press about it. So if I were to Google your name right now, I'll find tons of press about you. I'll find a full-fledged, full-page Google panel of you.
Mhm.
Now, if I were to buy something, if I was to like say, look, I want to buy something from you, and I found you online, or a company found you online, a company who's serious with doing business with you, seeing something like that will be like, okay, this is trustworthy, because it's not easy to get a Google Knowledge Panel.
Mhm.
It's not easy getting to Yahoo. It's not easy getting to some of these main publications, right? So if they actually took your story and they actually publish your stories, that shows some sort of credibility that they trust this business or you as a person who's doing a business. So that's really important.
As long as they search Chris M. Walker and not Chris Walker. If they search Chris Walker, they're going to find
Yeah.
a musician from the 90s. That motherfucker.
Yeah.
We had a lot of SEOs in the crowd too, and I just want to say that those are also extremely powerful links for SEO. Like Maxim is like a DA 80 or something like that.
Yeah,
and it's a do follow link in most cases, so it's very, very powerful. So I know SEOs are going to obsess over that portion of it, no matter what I say. So I figured I'd mention. Go ahead and mention that too. All right. Well, you have some stuff you want to show us, right?
Yeah. So I don't call myself an SEO person because there's so much of things to learn. I never call myself an SEO expert because there are like people way better here. I'm talking to someone who's an expert in front of me right here now. So my knowledge of SEO is, I would say, child's play compared to you guys out here who was watching this. Most of you here know SEO more than me, done more than me. But today I'm just going to be speaking more on why PR and branding mix it together, because now it's very important to mix it all together. It's your best friend. If you are a freelancer today, if you are an entrepreneur, if you want to go into the expert industry whereby you're teaching, coaching, doing courses and all, this will help you. So I'll try to share my screen. If I can share my screen, if it works, good. If not, it's just going to be...
There's a little ribbon at the bottom and it says present. So you just click present and then I'll add it to the screen.
So I share my screen. Let me see. Okay. Can I share that? Do you see it?
Yep. 1 second. Let me add it to the stage. All right. There you go.
So, okay. So why PR? Okay, if you guys can see it, that's good. Okay,
yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so today we're gonna go. If you are a business owner, a serious business owner today, this is gonna be a very short masterclass for you. All right, why PR and brand building are your friends. So today you want to go from being invincible to invincible, right? Invisible to invincible. I know it's a tongue twister. I did it to myself, so sorry about that. All right. Okay, so if you are a business now, right, and if this is you, basically you have a product, you have a service, and everything's fancy, you got a beautiful website and all that, but you're like a billboard in the desert because nobody knows who you are. All right. So if today, right, I were to Google, if any one of you here, right, if I were to Google you today, what would I find about you? Would I find something good, something bad, something nasty? Anything I find about you is your reputation or your brand. All right. So if I find something bad about you, or I find nothing at all. Worst thing is if I find nothing at all, especially if, and I'm going to speak to especially the SEO people here, right? If you are not found online, if I cannot find you online, okay, I'll just leave it at that. All right. So one of the thing is this, right? You need to be a spotlight. Okay. So I'm going to share something, 3 points of being a spotlight. So think of PR or branding or digital PR, whatever you want to call it. Okay? In terms of your term, is that think of it as your personal spotlight. Okay, where your skill shines. You can talk about your project, where people can see your amazing work, where you are found online, where you're searchable online. You can tell your stories and all that. So first thing is think of why PR and branding are your friends, because the spotlight is on you. Okay, that's number one. Okay, number two, it builds trust. It's a trust builder. When your work or advice appears in newsletters, in blogs, when you appear in podcasts, in magazines, in publications, in press release, and everything like that, how they look at you is different. Automatically, it's different. The perception of you as a person or your business will be different. So think of it as PR and branding, or PR as a trust builder. Okay. Number 3 is network. PR is also networking, right? PR is not only online, right? It's also offline. If you go for your conferences and your seminars and all this, that's also basically PR building, right? So that is one of it. That's one of aspect of it. Sorry here, because I'm just fumbling over my slides here. Okay. So how do you start this? How do you start building that 3 things whereby I spoke about you being a spotlight, you being where you build your trust and your network magic. So this is some simple steps. First thing is this, right? Know your story. What's your story? Every one of you has a story. Okay, like how when Chris asked me about my story, I had my story. You have your story. And the thing is that people want to know about your story because every story is authentic. Every story has to be told. Every story must be told. All right. So because people want to know, people want to relate to you. So know your story. What's special about you? What's special about your work? If you're a graphic designer, you're a coder. Do you make websites sing? Do you make coding sing? Do you code really fast? Do you code really slow? I don't know. Understand your unique skills. One, like it's like you having a superpower, right? And you're gonna bring it to the world. So the first thing is starting to build your in terms of the PR and building your branding is one thing is know your story. What is your special story? If you want to write it down today and say, what is my story? Think about it and bring it to the world. Secondly is share your wins. Okay, if you got a project, you win. Share your wins. Any projects that you've done, something special, share it, right? You're not boasting because you're sharing your wins. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to share their wins online because of the keyboard warriors. They'll say bad things about them and all this kind of stuff. Just don't bother with these people. Just share your wins because those people who are looking for you, they want to know what are your wins? What are you proud of? What are the projects that you have done? Share it. Share it on a blog. Share it on your website. Share it on a podcast or whatever. Just share your wins. Share it via a press release. Just share your wins, okay? Another thing is you need to join the conversations. Joining the conversations as a freelancer is very simple, right? So basically, you're following leaders in your field. Who are the people that you're looking up to? Who are the people that you want to model after? Follow them. Join conversations that they are in. Comment on their feeds. Comment on their social media. Just join the conversations, okay? Post your thought and be mindful of your thought. Be intentional when you do these things, okay? So that when you are sharing something, it's just not some nonsense where nobody understands what you're saying. You're just posting for the sake of posting. Like for example, you see someone post a very well thought post, and someone posts a comment like, "Yeah, hi," or post something irrelevant. I know Chris has got a lot of that. When he posts something and someone posts something completely irrelevant to that post, and it really irritates him. I've seen that a lot. All right. Another one of the things you can do is guest posting. I know a lot of SEO people love this thing called guest posting. Yeah, write a guest post that about in terms of in your industry, write a blog, whatever, right? Another one of it is create content. Of course, everybody knows about content. Create content, make videos, make blog posts. I know a guy who made about I don't know when he's in this where is here, but his name is Jonathan. He's into AI and he made about 900 videos before one of his videos hit about 1 million views. Just keep on do videos, TikTok, social media, whatever. Just keep on creating content nonstop. And one of the most important things is this: be consistent. Keep sharing, keep posting, keep engaging regularly. And one of the people that I know who does that so often is Chris himself. Chris has been posting up stuff like nonstop. When I remember when I used to watch you, Chris. I think I asked you before, right? How you do it, right? You just kept on posting stuff, right? Nobody cared, and you didn't care whether you had 1 view, 2 views, 3 views. You just kept on posting up. Look how your YouTube videos is booming. Like your groups, like take example from Chris, right? Look at what he has done. He has been very consistent in his groups, in his blogs, in his posting, in his content. You see in his emails. My goodness, I see lots of it. Consistency. He doesn't care about other people's opinion. At the end of the day, your job to be consistent is this: you are bringing value to your customers, to your audience, and you should not care about other people's opinion about that. Whether you get one like, whether you get one view, it doesn't matter. And when you are building your brand from scratch as a freelancer or as an entrepreneur, or even if you're an experienced entrepreneur, I don't care. Your main concern is your audience, your customer, and who you are serving. It is never about you. It's always about them. Always remember that. And last is ask for help. Okay. Ask for help. I know it's sometimes all this seems so overwhelming, but ask for help. If you need help, ask people. Okay. Ask the people that you like, the people that you want to model, ask them for help. And in most cases, they will help you. I know people like Chris, like Keith, like Dennis, you, all these people, if you ask them for help, boom, they will help you. But don't go bug it. Okay, one of the things is this, right? When you message someone privately, asking them for help, be humble, have humility, and don't put that question mark when they don't reply to you in like 5 seconds, because it's extremely irritating to someone, because and please guys, just research that person that you want to talk to. Check out their profile, check out their posts, and ask them relevant questions. Ask them something that makes sense, right? Don't just go there, ask them, can you help me please get sales? And ask them at 3:00 in the morning, their time when they're sleeping. It's extremely annoying. So do all this with intention, and I think you'll build a perfect brand for yourself, a brand that is long lasting. The leads will come to you, and you won't have to worry about, do I have sales, do I have business, and all that. So simple as this, right? Just if you're taking notes, know your story, share your wins, join the conversation, do posting, blogs, everything, create content, be consistent, and ask for help. All right. So I'm going to stop that.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. How do I stop? Okay.
All right. So my first question is, who makes your images? Because those were very good.
Okay. So those images were made by ChatGPT.
I mean, I knew they were AI, but they look really good. There's very good detail in them.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that was very quick, but very in depth and very helpful. One thing that, again, we have a lot of SEOs in the crowd. So one thing that I think is important to remember too is a lot of these higher end publications rank really well on their own for like parasite SEO. Like that's a big thing right now, and it sucks, in my opinion, that's the case. But you can really take advantage of that and get your offers seen or get some traffic from them, right? They rank pretty well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Definitely. Yep.
Yeah, like it's not as bad as it was, but like a few months ago, Outlook India was one that ranked for fucking everything. So
yeah. So it happens this way, right? Whenever something good comes up from the PR or the publication side, and SEO people get into it, and SEO people kill it, kind of way. I mean, I hate to say this, no, guys. No, I'm not blaming the SEO community, but the SEO community is like is almost crippling a lot of the publications and a lot of the press release. Because when we send out a press release for you guys, and you guys dump like crap load of stuff to that link, and
just be honest. You can let your true feelings known.
Yeah, I'm just letting I'm getting hurt on behalf of the publications right now. I'm joking, but what's happening is that don't dump so much of stuff onto these publications. If you really value these publications to boost your backlinks or your sites or whatever, don't dump too much of stuff on it, because at the end of the day, publications are going to stop doing it, and the prices are going to go up. Prices are going to go skyrocket, and you're going to get lesser stuff, and it's going to get harder to get these publications, and eventually the industry will just die. And you won't get affordable press releases to do your SEO stuff. So be mindful of what you throw at this link. Sometimes it can be damaging to the publications, and a few of people like us in our industry is like, we are seeing it happen. We're seeing a lot of publications stopping. Like some good publications, we do follow strong backlinks to your site, and they're just stopping. They're just saying enough is enough. Like one of them is the AP News Market Watch. They stopped accepting press releases and all that, and they're just completely purging everything in their archives. So, or they just straight away say, look, no more do follow links. It's no follow links, or they don't even index it, right? So we've seen some publications, putting a no index on their no index tags. So those pages will never get indexed whatever you do. So it doesn't bring you much value at the end of the day. So don't destroy the golden goose, I would say. Don't kill the golden goose.
So I hate to keep bringing it back to SEO because I know that there's a lot more to
Yeah.
this, but I want to because I know that's what a lot of people are wondering. The way I've used press releases in my SEO is that I basically do them in the second month. And for the first month, I'll do like foundational links and citations and social media profiles, and then the second month, I do a press release. Is that the right way? The wrong way? Should I change my strategy?
No,
How
it's
do you
fine.
use them for SEO?
Yeah, that what you're doing is fine. It works. Look, at the end of the day, each SEO person has their own style. Some of them run a press release for the foundation. Some of them run a press release after an optimization. Some of them run press release every week. Some of them run press release a month. I don't really give opinions based on it because every SEO agency that we work with have their own set of strategies and how they do it. And a lot of them use press releases as a boost, as a foundational link. Some of them just do it for SEO and branding. So at the end of the day, you need to know what you want to use it for, right? So you can boost a site because of the backlinks that come in from the presence and all that, or you can use it for part of maintenance. You can use it for your GMB. It is really up to the SEO agency how they want to do it, but just use it with intention. Don't just go blasting press release. Of course, don't launch a press release and blast everything to your main page, right? You got to have some relevance going to the inner page and all that kind of stuff. So I usually just work with the SEO agencies in terms of looking at what they are doing in terms of strategy and try to optimize it for them. That's it.
Great. I am here live with Nixon Lee, the PR whisperer, as he goes by. Nixon has been doing PR and press releases for about 10 years. They can help with your personal branding, with SEO, and so on. And if you like interviews like this, please subscribe. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. So one of the things that I've used them for as far as the personal branding side was help getting knowledge panels and social media verification. Can you talk a little bit about the process on that? I know social media verification isn't worth what it used to be because a lot of platforms just let you pay $15 or whatever for it now, but it's still for like TikTok and YouTube and stuff, it can help. So can you talk about that as well as claiming a knowledge panel?
So in terms of getting verification, social verification via press releases, now I just don't do it anymore, nor do I recommend it to people anymore because it's just not worth just doing it just for that.
Right.
Like you said, because most platforms now are just going to pay for it. You can pay for it to get verified anyway. I would say if you want to get press releases or publications, I would say not press releases, publications in terms of building a personal brand online where you're searchable online, that's very important. If you want to get a Google Knowledge Panel, of course, you have to be notable and to be found online. So one of the easiest ways, of course, if you got publications by yourself, you have a blog, you have a website. So let's say if you want to get a Google Knowledge Panel for yourself, all right, and like the Google Panel you have here, and I'm pretty surprised that most SEO people do not have a Google Knowledge Panel. Okay, because the Google Knowledge Panel is basically entities, right? So just Google knowing who you are and being able to adapt, be able to find all the correct stuff about you. So one of the things is very simple, right? Having a good knowledge panel is just having a bit of press, some good press that of publications that talks about you, all right? Having your own website, all right? Having all your social media, your website, everything that talks about you that is consistent. Simple as that. It's a very, very simple thing. Something that is consistent. Like for example, like for me, right? Everywhere you go on my site, my content, my social media, it's Nixon Lee, PR Whisperer. I want to be known as Nixon Lee, and I want to be known as a PR Whisperer. That relates to branding, PR, and all that kind of stuff. So if you type my name, you should be able to find me there. There you go. There you go. And I have a full panel now. So if you look at my at my Google Knowledge Panel, you'll see I have my Twitter, I have my YouTube, I have my blog, I have some wiki stuff, Facebook, social media. Everything is all consistent to my name, an image about me, my face, my brand, my logo.
Literally, the video
And
that you're watching right now is there.
yeah, man. That's cool, right? That's cool. So Twitter is like one of my favorite, and YouTube is one of my favorite stuff because whenever you update something, it gets shown immediately, especially Twitter.
Yep.
So that's the nice thing that you can do. Like just type something on Twitter and within a couple of minutes you see it up there if you type your name. So building a Google Knowledge Panel can take some time. Yes, it does take some work, but a lot of cases people don't get a knowledge panel activated because Google just do not know who you are. Right. Because in one social media you call yourself Nixon Lee, in another social media you call yourself Nix Lee. So when I was building my Google panel, I basically went through an audit of my own social media, right? So I look at all my social media and said, okay, what do I want to be known for? Do I want to be known as Nix Lee or Nixon Lee? Do I want to be known as the PR person or the non-PR person? So I just came up with something very simple. I asked myself this question: I want to be known as Nixon Lee because that's my entire name, and I want to keep it for the rest of my life and my personal brand. And I wanted to be known as the PR whisperer. That's it. Yeah. Even though sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, even though it sounded really cliche as a PR whisperer thing, but no.
Just to illustrate how important it is to be consistent, let me show you. I made a joke about this earlier, but it's true. This is what happens when you search Chris Walker. It's actually, he lost his knowledge panel. That's interesting. But it shows this guy. So that's why I had to go with Chris M. Walker, because it's, unique, because there's somebody that I'm not going to be able to beat as Chris Walker because he's more famous than I am, unfortunately. But if you go with Chris M. Walker, it shows me. So that's why it's important. You were talking about important between Nixon and Nix. That's, it's, you have to be consistent. And for whatever reason, people struggle with consistency in every area of life. But this is particularly important here.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of SEO talk about entity and making Google know who you are and all this kind of stuff. And that's the thing, right? So when they ask me about it, it's like, guys, this is what you do for a living. You should be able to get it done. Building a website for your customers and on the About Us, you need to have consistent information on the About Us. On every social media, you have an About Us, right? Be consistent. The same thing goes everywhere. Because at the end of the day, once Google knows who you are, then it's much easier to identify a name, a phrase, what do you want to be known for. And once it finds you, then it's much easier for you to activate your Google panel. Simple. I mean, of course, there are a lot of other things involved. I'm just cutting it down. Of course, there's a lot of audit stuff and content and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, and if you look at my panel, you can see some publications about me. Nothing big. It's just a couple of publications about me. Nothing really huge. And the reason I set up this knowledge panel, it was just to prove that it wasn't difficult to do. It's time consuming, yes, but it wasn't really difficult to do because I think I got my knowledge panel up about like 5 months, within 5 months of really trying to get it up. Meaning I actually spent a couple of hours a day looking through all my stuff, deleting off stuff that didn't make there was no relevance to me, and just putting up stuff that were important to me. And of course, I was looking for sites that to point to me like a DR 50 and above and that kind of stuff, like entrepreneur.com and the wiki, whatever. I can't remember the name, whatever, wiki something. All right. So I put up all those stuff. Then within 5-6 months, my panel was activated. And it took me another 2 months for it to be propagated throughout the whole world. So now I tested it in every possible country that I could find. And my entire panel came up nice. And
I think it's important to remember that Google is a computer. Like, we're smart enough to know that Nix Lee and Nixon Lee are the same thing. We're also smart enough to know that I'm not Chris Walker, the 90s one-hit wonder. But Google only sees data. They don't understand context. That's probably not the best way to put it, but to them, they can't distinguish that well between Nixon Lee and Nix Lee, or Chris Walker and Chris M. Walker, and so on. So it's important to keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and take a few questions / comments. Catalyst RVA Marketing Agency, says Schuyler, says, Nix for president. Appreciate all the work you've done for the clients.
Hey, thanks, man.
Shannon says some really good points. Love the slides. I'll add be cool as Chris and Nixon. Well, thank you. The Wise Marketer says, yes, the images were amazing. What's up, James? James says, hey, fam. What's up, James? James will hopefully be on the channel sometime soon as he gets around to scheduling it.
Okay.
Kyle says, nice presentation. Thank you. Great presentation, Nix. I wish all presentations were as short and to the point as yours. Small Biz Helps 2016 says, have been using Nix for press releases a good few years under various guises, LOL, and always moves the dial for me with clients. That's good to hear. Kyle asks, should we be scared to do these PRs with the most recent Google algorithm update? They're really going after websites that are sending links from irrelevant sources. I pump the brakes on a lot of PR. That has not been what I have seen, but what do you say about that?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to be afraid of those things. Things that are happening with the algorithm and in terms of sites, those are mostly your on-page stuff. So get those things fixed. The PR doesn't affect the algorithm at all. Doesn't affect. I've yet to see a page tank because of a PR.
Right.
There were many cases that people. There were one case before that someone said the page tagged because of the PR, and after further investigation by the client themselves, they found out that it wasn't the PR; it was something else on their back end. And
I think I know what you're talking about, actually. But
yeah,
between us.
Yeah.
All right. Danny says, I own a local brick and mortar business. I've sent PR to local papers for years with no success. What would you suggest to become the community authority?
Okay, this is interesting, right? So what happened with one of our client locally in Malaysia? I would say in Malaysia. So he wanted to get known. He had a local brick and mortar PR. So what we did for him first was we launched a premium PR that went to Yahoo Finance, I think, right? So he took that PR. So of course, when we did the PR for him, we pretty much wrote something really good for him. It wasn't a promotional PR. It was really, really something that he did for within the community. And we wrote something that was about a CSR program that he did for the community for one of the homes, and they offered some stuff. So it's a very engaging PR. Nothing about the company in terms of promotional base. We took that PR. We wrote for him on Yahoo Finance. And he took that particular PR, he posted up on his social, and he sent that exact PR after a couple of weeks to a local station, news station, like a radio station, something like that. They read the PR. They're like, oh, okay, would you be able to come for an interview to talk about that case? Not about his company, talk about that particular subject that he was helping. So that got the ball rolling, and then more stuff. Then he started to get into another newspaper and started to get to another thing. Because at the end of the day, what happens is a lot of us, when we go to local, we talk about ourselves first. At the end of the day, it's not newsworthy enough. We're not an Elon Musk. We're not a Tesla. We're not some big company that they're gonna write or talk about us because it's not newsworthy enough. People won't read that news. But you can take in context of something that's happening locally, and you do something or get into a CSR program, something even really small, but as long as it's newsworthy, they will take that as something that is newsworthy enough for their audience. Because as soon as you go in and says, okay, this is my company, I'm blah, 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 then they're like, who the heck are you? You're not some big international whereby someone's going to read it. Like, so at the end of the day, you got to take it from that angle and stop going directly to them and saying, this is my services, this is what I can do. Because everybody's the best in the industry, right? But you're not a name that sells at the end of the day. So, and just to let you know this thing, right? Most local agencies or newspapers or radio stations are actually starving for content. They really want content, but good content. So if you go to them with good content, with something that is newsworthy, they would actually even come to interview you, or they will call you in for an interview, or they will even publish it, because they are always after good content, good authentic content. So that's one advice I can give you, is that look at something around your area. Don't just promote your business only. Do something for the community, and they will call you. Yeah.
Catalyst RVA Marketing Agency says, can I beat out an actor with my personal name that already has a knowledge panel? Well, as I showed before, I have had zero luck in doing that. What do you think?
Well, I beat President Nixon. So
Really?
yeah. So at one time when I was typing in Nixon Lee or Nixon, President Nixon came out.
Wow.
So it was like at the first search. So
So do you think that I could replace Chris Walker?
you might. We can work on it.
Okay.
We
So
can
it
work on
can
it.
be done. Is it,
It can be done.
in your opinion, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah, it can be done. Because if you look at the end of the day, some of these celebrities are not doing what we would be doing, putting up publications, putting up some of these so-called celebrities or actors could be a has-been, could be an actor like 30 years ago and it's not acting anymore, and there's no more publications about them, there's no mentions about them at all, they're not putting the news at all. So if you start putting up more news about you, and bring up more content about you, eventually Google knows like, oh, okay, maybe this is the most current data about this person. So you can do that, because at the end of the day, I do notice some names of people who are up there just happen to be up there because they were known like 20 years ago.
Makes sense.
Right. And nobody came in and tried to work out, put up.
So I guess what you're saying is
content.
you're not gonna replace Brad Pitt for Brad Pitt, but
Of course.
But if it's somebody who was on a TV show in the 80s, you can probably replace them if you happen to have the same name as them. So cool. I have the same issue with Robbie Rizek. He is a cool DJ. It's funny you say that. My friend Nico Marino has the same thing. There's a DJ named Nico Marino, and he always has to fight with him. Excellent presentation. Fizz Digital, there's your free plug. Says, I had to be on a different call. Will this be replayed? Yes, wherever you're watching this now, it will be there again in the future. Robbie, who's going to be on the channel very soon, says, awesome presentation. I have the same issue with Robbie Rizek. Would love to hear your suggestions, guys. So I guess we'll say on this topic, since there seems to be some interest in it, is it just a matter of doing more PR and more press and or what's the, you don't have to give the exact formula, but what's the strategy for replacing someone that has already gotten the knowledge panel?
So at the end of the day, who's more relevant to Google, right? Who's most updated? If you're updating your content more, if you're putting out more videos, for example, just say you're writing more on Twitter, it's basically if you are dishing out more content than that person, eventually you will go up on you'll start being more known, and you will go up onto the panels faster. So at the end of the day, if that actor or that DJ is very, very active and he's posting up like content every couple of days, he's posting up Instagram stuff and YouTube stuff and Twitter, then most probably you will not be able to beat his panel. But if that guy has not posted up anything for the last 5 years, for example, then it's pretty easy to beat that guy out eventually. But just putting out enough content, like I said, being consistent with your content in the videos, and I think you will be able to do that. It's not a problem.
So what you're saying is it depends.
Yeah,
Good classic SEO answer.
I mean, yeah, it depends. If you're competing against Brad Pitt, then fat hopes, man.
So I did a case study probably 5 years ago, and I'm going to show the results on this now, where there's another Chris Walker in SEO as well. And so I attempted to outrank him for Chris Walker SEO, which has no value whatsoever except to him and to me. And it's changed consistently over the years, but I have more than he does now because I spent the effort to specifically do that. You can see my site, Superstar SEO, is number 1. His LinkedIn is number 2. But then my site is number 3. My site's number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. It's mostly about me because I spent the effort it was just a dick waving contest, let's be honest, but I spent the effort to outrank him for that term. So it's the same kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Just like, what you were saying, make more and put out more and be more is always better, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah, in a way, content, right? So like at one time when I was searching for my name, Nixon Lee, my LinkedIn didn't show up. It was some other dude LinkedIn that showed up. And I was super irritated, but I was thinking, what the heck? Why isn't my LinkedIn showing up? Then when I look at my LinkedIn, I said, okay, I was hardly on LinkedIn at that particular time. So what I did is, whatever I posted on Facebook, I started posting on LinkedIn, images and stuff. Then eventually my LinkedIn started showing up. So initially when I started my Google Knowledge Panel, most of my social icons that comes out were all wrong. Were all somebody else's
I went through that too.
Stuff, right? Yeah. So I had to start updating the stuff. So what I did is I updated the information for like a week or two. Then I sent a request to edit the links and I got approved immediately. If those social media were dead and there was no movement, I think so I wouldn't have got it changed by Google when after I put in the request. So it's okay. So that's the thing here, right? A Google Knowledge Panel needs some maintenance. It doesn't mean once you get it and set
Right.
for life, right? You do still have to maintain your knowledge panel by updating your content, writing blogs, putting out videos consistently, because Google wants to know whether it's still relevant, whether this person still exists, whether this person still relevant, right? Let's not talk about actors and famous celebrities, right? Because those are already there. But you're talking about us trying to overtake them, then you got to put out content and all the information as regular as you can, basically, and which you are supposed to anyway.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, you can see right here, like it literally shows my recent tweets right there in Google. And
Yep.
to your point, that's because I'm consistently putting out stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it's literally showing again the stream that we're on right now on Twitter is literally showing on Twitter, or excuse me, on
Yep.
X. But yeah, so to your point, being consistent and putting stuff out. I know that people want to be lazy and not put out stuff content, but I've been screaming for years that you need to be on YouTube and you need to be on Facebook. I mean, it's literally why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Well, among other reasons, but what I'm doing right now is for the publicity, you know, and that's what you know, that's basically what this is all about, right? Publicity.
Yep. And one of my biggest regrets was not building my YouTube channel from day one. That's one of my biggest regrets because that's like an automation sales lead generation thingy. Like I just did a video a couple of weeks back, a really bad video of me talking about my son, about content. I put it on TikTok, for example. I got like 500 overviews, but out of the 500 overviews that I got 3 messages from someone who was interested in personal branding, and so that was the lead that I got. So I was thinking like, oh man, I should have built those stuff earlier, you know. So what I'm trying to do now is like what you are doing, Chris. I mean, I saw you doing it, but I was lazy and I didn't do it. Yeah.
So to your point, I have a video that I made in I think 2017 where I ranked an image of myself for the fact of me being the most handsome man in South Carolina. And there's a few points to that. It's absolutely true, but also it's I still get inquiries from that video 6 years, 7 years later, whatever the number is. So my point is, it's an evergreen sales channel for you. So you should be doing it all the time. And I hopefully you'll take my advice after years of me telling you that and start doing it.
I will.
All right, we got one more question and then we're going to start wrapping up. This is from Stopwatch. Says, from your experience, what sort of niches do well with PR? You think digital PR is a viable strategy for local niches, or is it more suited for coaches, authors, and those sorts of business owner? I know the answer to this, but I want to hear what you say. Yeah.
So look, from my experience with all niches, I mean, I think all niches you shouldn't have any problems on all niches because except for adult niches, but then again, it's not really. So basically, digital PR work for all niches, right? It doesn't just work only for coaches and authors, and so those kind of PRs are different type of PRs. We're talking about when it comes to a coach, author, and business owner PRs, those are different type of publications where we are talking about building reputation and personal brand. When you're talking about like certain niches, like for example, like plumbing niche and all that, digital PR works really well for you. Like we know a couple of people who do digital PR for a lot of clients, and you see once they start doing the digital PR and they start submitting it and start getting backlinks to it, and it really boosts up the traffic on the site. So it still works for digital PR, works for your local niches, that's for sure. Coaches, authors, and business owners, and those who are doing courses, that's a different thing altogether for them. We are doing something else completely different. Those are more for, it's not so much for your backlinks or to boost your site traffic or whatever. Those are mostly built for branding, building credibility, and building like a thought leadership status, and mostly for authority's sake, just for because those that we work with in terms of coaches, most of the time they're not thinking about backlinks. They're just thinking about when someone types my name, can they find that publication? And why do I want that? Because it's just building authority for me that I am found. I have authority in my niche, in my subject matter, and that's what I want. they don't really care about the traffic, as you say. From an SEO point of view, doing digital PR, of course, you want as many backlinks as you get, high quality backlinks that you get. It's going to start boosting up your traffic, your rankings, and all that. And again, I'm not fully an SEO person, so my explanation might be just too simple, like for a child. But Chris, I think maybe you can.
No, I agree with what you said.
Yeah.
All right. That seems to be the end of the questions, and we've been here an hour already, if you can believe it. So before we wrap up, anything else you would like to share with us? They can find you on legit at Spine PR, right?
Yeah. So I got something for you guys. Who is here today, right now at this hour, if you go to my link and if you buy anything from that link and you key in the word Poddy, Poddy, today at this date 26, Poddy, Poddy.
Okay.
Okay. You will get you will get a buy one free one on any services that you see on legit from me.
Wow, I didn't even know you were going to do that. That's awesome. So
yeah,
they buy something from you. Let's bring it up on the screen. I may have to take advantage of this myself.
Yeah.
Can I take advantage of that?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
This is Nixon's profile on legit. Want to point out too that he's taking the time to do the branding. A lot of people don't do that. He's got an intro video. In fact, his intro video was so good, I spent $2,000 to get a better one made because I didn't want to not have the best one. But this is his standard press release service, and then some other great stuff you can get from him. And anything you buy, if you use is it a coupon, or they just need to tell you this?
No, just put it, just when you buy it, just put it to the description. When you fill up the form, say Poddy, Poddy. Today, the 26th, you have only 24 hours to get it. And after that, don't message my team or me for that discount for that free one buy one, because they're not going to entertain it. And if you don't have that word Poddy, so sorry, they won't entertain it also.
Well, that's still very generous of you. So I'm going to put that in the chat one more time. So please go take advantage of that, because it's a great deal and because it makes me money. So that's another great reason you should do it. Yes. But no, for real, it's a great service, and it's something I've been using for years and recommending for years. So hopefully I have enough credibility with everybody watching this to know that I wouldn't recommend something if I didn't believe in it. So Nixon does a great job, and we're very lucky to have him. As a matter of fact, here's a piece of trivia I forgot to mention. Nixon had the very first sale in legit history. I don't know if you knew that, but the very first order in legit history was from Preben Sandvik to Nixon Lee. So
wow,
yeah. So there's a
special. Can I get a special badge on my profile?
That's actually a good idea. I'll come up with something, because we're starting to do like awards like that. So that's a good idea. But yeah, cool. Nixon had the very first sale in a legit history too. So I'm glad that I remembered that before we signed off. So
wow, thanks, man.
All right. Well, thank you again for your time today. I know it's almost 2 a.m. there for you now. So I'm going to let you go get some Z's, because sleep is important.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Appreciate all your sharing. Missed out on that slick wall clock, but I'll snag it a PR later this afternoon. Excellent. All right. We will be back on Thursday at the same time with Priyank Soni, who is somebody I've used for link building for a long time, including links directly to legit. And he's going to teach us how he does backlink analysis. So you're not going to want to miss that. Click subscribe and the notification bell so you can be there live for that. That'll be at Thursday, the 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern. And as usual, I want to thank you all for being here. I know that you could have all been anywhere else in the world, and you chose to spend a little bit of time here today. That's something I will always appreciate and never take for granted. So thank you for that. And hopefully I'll get to see some of you, including Nixon, here live in September for our first live event. So Nixon has guaranteed us he will take the 21-hour flight to be here for it. But seriously, thanks everyone. I'll be back on Thursday. In the meantime, figure out what you want out of life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. I'll see you again on Thursday. Peace.
Thanks, guys.